Hey friends, welcome back to the Procrastination Solution Podcast, where we get real about what's holding you back and how to move forward with purpose, with clarity, and a solid plan for success. I am your host, Nilo Burke, and I help women just like yourself overcome procrastination for good and achieve the goals that matter the most to you. If you've ever felt stuck in that frustrating cycle of starting something, then stopping, then trying again, only to stop again, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about what I call the start-stop energy draining loop. Let's talk about why it happens, what it's doing to your brain and your energy levels, and how to finally break free from it. So, what is the start-stop energy draining loop? What is it? And why does it drain our energy? So let's start with the loop itself. Here's how it sounds in our real lives, right? Something like, I'm finally going to clean out my inbox. So you open the email tab and a notification pops up. You check Instagram for just a second. Then a kid might need something or somebody else might need something or a dog. Then you forget what you were doing and then you feel behind again. So we get distracted. We stop, and then we try to restart over and over, and every loop costs us energy, right? And this is what's happening in our brain. Each interruption forces your brain to re-engage your prefrontal cortex, your decision making, and your focus center, right? And this switching has a cognitive cost. A study from the University of California, Irvine, found that it takes 23 minutes on average to get back into a deep focus after an interruption. So when you're constantly starting and stopping, you're never getting into your most productive zone. You're draining your energy just trying to stay in the game, right? So why your brain falls into this loop. Let's talk about the why. Your brain isn't sabotaging you. It's actually trying to protect you, right? So your brain has three main goals. I've talked about this before. And my coach, Brooke Castillo, calls this the motivational triad. So our brain avoids discomfort. And it conserves energy. And it likes to seek comfort. That's it. So when something feels hard, like writing a paper, writing a proposal, doing budgeting, sending an email, your brain will look for an easier option, right? Like a dopamine hit, something quick and feel good, like your phone, right? We turn to our phones often. You reach for your phone thinking just 30 seconds of this, but it turns into 15 minutes and maybe, 20, maybe 30, maybe an hour, right? So you might be thinking, oh man, I must be like avoiding something, but it's actually not. It's actually by design that our brain will protect us from that discomfort, and will give us a dopamine hit of something else, right? So it's by design. Your brain is wired for efficiency. That's why it takes intentional mindset work to override it, right? So imagine, let me just give you like a quick visual. Imagine a river. It's like the way that we have been living our lives up until the moment that we want to change something. It's like this river that has run down this path for forever. And now we're trying to change the path of this river. Now we're trying to get it to, maybe branch out a little bit to this side or to the other side. It's not, now it might be impossible to reroute a river like just by ourselves, but it's not impossible for us to intentionally like override our minds, pathways and create new pathways. That's not as impossible and as daunting of a task as rerouting a river. But I just wanted to like give you a visual, right? So imagine a river going one direction and you want it to go a different direction. Like the water would much rather stay efficient and keep going in one direction, and you're trying to get it to go a different direction for whatever reason, right? That's what it's like when we are trying to, create change. We're building a new habit, or we're, basically building a new habit, right? That's what change is. So, okay, let me let me get back to my notes here. Now, the coaching mindset, let me briefly talk about that real quick, is what I do is I help my clients break this loop, right? This loop of starting and stopping and mustering up enough energy to start again and not feel so bad or guilty about lost time, and, basically keep going until a new route is built in their minds so that they can now work with that efficiency, right? So one thing that I teach women is that you're basically stuck in a system, right? And I used to call it a broken system, but honestly, it's not broken. If we stop judging our habits or our loops in our minds, it becomes so much easier to actually change them. So let me just do that. Let me just say that it's just a system, right? And it just needs changing, and that's simply it. We're not judging our habits at all, whether it produces negative or positive results in our lives currently. We're not judging them. We're just simply saying, this is a system. I don't want the system anymore. I want something different, right? Because I want to produce a different result. That's it, right? So through coaching, we start by identifying like where the loop shows up the most. Is it morning? Is it right before a big task? Is it right before something that you've already scheduled, like a workout or meal prep? And then we learn how to work with your brain and not against it to, go about rerouting that loop. And then we talk about building repeatable habits, repeatable processes that support focus instead of relying on willpower, because willpower does run out. We have enough willpower. Imagine a bucket full of willpower, and we use it from the moment we wake up until nighttime. And, this is why, like, if you leave it up to me, I will definitely choose something super sweet to eat at the end of the day with my cup of tea, right? Because at that point, like, I have used up all of my willpower. So, and then we don't hustle hard to, create a new habit or a loop. We actually work smart. We create systems and we shift thought patterns, and we learn to restore your energy from the inside out, right? So, real strategies to break the start-stop loop on your own. Here's what you can do. Number one, put your phone in a drawer for an hour. I did a Momentum Monday episode for this week, and so this episode and Monday's episode, they're connected. So put your phone in a drawer for an hour, and it sounds simple, but out of sight really does mean out of mind, and that means fewer distractions, right? And that means better focus, right? So give it a try. Listen to the Monday's episode. It's super short. And if you can't start with an hour, start with 20 minutes or start with 30 minutes, right? Number two, use a power hour focus block. Okay, what is this? So set a timer for 60 minutes, choose one clear task, and then close all other tabs in your brain, right? So choose one clear task. What is that? Is it dishes? Is it laundry? Is it workout? Is it meal prep? Is it focusing on, something for school or for work? Or what is it, right? Just pick one thing and just do that thing. Let your brain drop into deep focus. This trains your nervous system to experience safety in stillness. You don't have to keep moving from task to task in order to, be productive. In fact, when you are multitasking, our brain is designed so that it does one task at a time. It focuses on one thing at a time. Now, if you say, oh no, I'm really good at multitasking, you're actually not. Your brain is just really good at switching tasks, right? Switching between tasks. But even then, in order for you to like experience the same level of focus from, when you switch from one task to the other, there's time that needs to be spent in order to gain the same level of focus. So if you are doing something, it's surface level task switching. That's what your brain is doing. It's surface level task switching. The best thing to do is to focus on one thing at a time. And what the byproduct of this is that your nervous system feels safe. It feels safe focusing on one thing and getting it done. And then you get that dopamine hit from the completion of this one thing, right? Even if it's like super small, like going through your mail, throwing things out, shredding, part of the mail, replying to things, paying bills. If that takes you an hour, you're going to get this amazing like boost of dopamine. All right. 3. I've talked about this before. Try just the next step. So when you're overwhelmed or fear kicks in, don't do the whole thing. Just do the next step, right? What is it that you are working on? We have so many open tabs in our lives. And by that, I mean projects that we are working on, things that we started and we haven't finished. I'm not talking about that painting you started and you need to finish that. No, I'm talking about other things like laundry. I know I keep bringing up laundry, but it's because every single person has laundry. Or groceries. When we bring groceries, home from the car, we got to put it away. And then if we're buying something from, say, BJ's or Costco, and we're buying in bulk, part of that put it away means taking the 10 pounds of chicken that you bought, instead of freezing the whole thing, dividing that up into different Ziploc bags and then freezing it, right? So that's also like part of the putting it away process of the groceries. Or just think of like any other loops, like maybe it's a birthday that you are organizing, or a present that you're going to be buying for somebody, and you did some research, but you haven't actually purchased it. You haven't actually wrapped the thing. So it's still sitting in the back of your mind like an open loop. We think, oh, we'll get to that later, but our brain is constantly spending energy focusing on that thing. And from time to time, it will nag us. It'll be like, oh, you still got to buy that present for so-and-so. And you're like, oh man, I never finished buying that. I never checked out of my cart for that. So when you are overwhelmed by all of these loops, right? And you're short on time, or the deadline is around the corner, that's when you become overwhelmed. So in that moment, the best thing to do to focus, and instead of going into the freeze mode, right? When we freeze and we're just forget it, I'm taking a nap, I am not dealing with anything. So that's because you're overwhelmed. So what you can do is just tell yourself, just the next step. What is the next step you can do? What is the next step on that one open loop, right? And then when that's done, go to the next open loop and just be or open tab, and just be what is the next step I can take here to close this tab, right? Okay, and number 4 is clear, direct language for your task. So don't give yourself vague language in your to-do list. Don't say work on my business, declutter the house, or work on the garage, or spend 15 minutes in the car, cleaning up the car. Be very specific with your language. What do you need to do to clean up the car, right? You can literally say, throw out trash from the car, vacuum the front 2 seats, or vacuum the back seats, or at home, you can be very specific about the tasks that need to be done. Pick up the living room, clean or wash the blankets, or, vacuum the living room and the hallways. Very specific language, as opposed to, work on the house or work on your business. Very specific things like, what do you need to do to work on your business, right? So you might need to order, inventory. You might need to update the sales page on your website. You might need to make social media posts. Be specific. Use clear, direct language for your tasks. Don't leave them vague. Specific reduces confusion, and confusion is a sneaky way. It's a sneaky trigger for procrastination, because you're like, I don't know. I have all this work to do for my business. I don't know where to start. This is so overwhelming. I'm just going to do this other thing and then I'll get back to that later. Like, I know I'm not the only one who said that. All right. And then number 5 is track your energy and distraction patterns. So keep a 3-day log. When do you hit your slump? What pulls your focus away, right? Pattern recognition is so, so powerful. And it actually, like, we as humans, we love information and we love to know why or how something works. When we track our pattern and we log things, we learn. This is information for us. We're not judging ourselves. We learn something about ourselves and we're like, oh man, I never knew I did that. Right? So, take a sheet of paper, tape it to the, refrigerator, tape it to the wall, somewhere where you can see it, and literally write down, keep a log of, when do you hit your energy slump, or what, when you're in the middle of a task, what pulls your attention away from it? Like, what happens, right? You don't need, if you don't want to do it on a piece of paper, you can just text yourself, quick text, send it to yourself, and then you can go back at the end of 3 days and look at all the messages you've sent yourself, and you can see a pattern emerging, right? That is so powerful. Once you have that information, then you can choose to, use a strategy to combat 1 or 2 things, at a time. Like, you're not trying to solve the whole thing all at once, because then we go back to overwhelm, right? So, what I want you to know here is this loop that you might be in, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that you're human, and the loop is absolutely fixable, right? So you can break free from this pattern because you realize that there are systems, there are ways that you can, put into place or in your own life in order for you to fix whatever it is you want fixing, right? Without judgment, without discouragement, without any sort of negativity. If you are okay with something, you're okay with it. If you want to walk away from it, you simply need to decide that I want to walk away from this because I no longer want to, experience this in my life. That's it. That is simply it. It does not need to be like this big dramatic thing. It just simply needs to be like, I don't want to experience this in my life anymore. And then you move on, and then you figure out a way to create a new habit, to create a new loop, something that you use in order to achieve your new goals, because you're a new person, right? We're constantly changing. We're a new person every day. You're not the same person you were a month ago even. So anyway, I can go on and on about that. But let me answer, I have a few questions that you may have, been thinking about or may have come up for you as you were listening to this episode. So let me just do, go through those real quick. So you might have asked, or you might have been thinking, what if I put my phone away but still get distracted by thoughts, right? All sorts of thoughts. So, your mental distraction is absolutely real, right? So try a thought parking lot notebook to write down what's on your mind while staying in your focus block. So the thought parking lot title, that's new, but there was a similar thought that I think it was like one of my professors or one of my mentors that said this to me years ago. And basically she said something like, I'll worry about this later list, right? So she said, create, I'll worry about this later. And then on this list, you write down everything that's coming up for you right this minute, that's distracting you from whatever that's in front of you. And then you'll be like, okay, I'll worry about this later. And then write those down. And it's so funny because a lot of times, like when we go back and we read the things we were worried about at a different moment, some of those things have actually worked themselves out. Right. So in the moment, you might get distracted by thoughts that is absolutely 100% valid. So try making a I'll worry about this later list, or this thought parking lot idea. It's just, a notebook, an app on your phone. You can even text it to yourself, but just write down thoughts that are coming up for you that are causing you distraction, and pulling your focus away from whatever it is you want to focus on, right? So it clears the clutter without derailing your task. Okay. All right, number two, the question that may have come up for you is, I've tried power hours but I can't start them. Like, what do I do? So use use a mini version of this. Just sit at your desk and open one task, or just start doing one task and just commit to doing it for 5 minutes. If you can't commit to an hour for now, you can commit to doing it for 5 minutes. So often the hardest part is beginning the task. And then once you get started, your brain will want to finish it. It's amazing because we want to finish it. We're like, oh, I'm almost done. Right? And I know this because, as a middle school teacher, I used to, my students, they dreaded doing some of this stuff, right? They did not want to do the activities, the work, or whatever. But on more than one occasion, let me tell you, once they started doing something and the timer went off and like the time is over for that thing, we're moving on to something else, they want to finish it. They want to keep going and keep working on it, especially if it's something like fun, something they really want to do, right? And so I know that our brains want to finish tasks. So maybe try this, okay? For your power hour, commit to a shorter amount of time. Instead of an hour, commit to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and commit to doing something you actually like. Okay, this way you will get like that double-edged sword, right? It's not really that much time and it's something you really like doing. So then your brain is going to want to finish it. Before you know it, you might end up spending, close to an hour or more than an hour on this task. Okay. So start small. Number three, I work in a noisy home. How do I stay focused? Listen, this is me. Right now, my kids are in the other room. They are watching the Minecraft movie, and it is loud. And I'm just hoping you guys can't hear them at all. I'm in the closet recording this podcast. So I totally get you. I understand 100%. One thing that you can do is you can get noise canceling headphones. You can also play ambient sounds on, Amazon Music or on YouTube, and even like train your family if you can, if they are at an age that can be, where they can be trained, and just create a visible like focus signal, right? Like, put a sign up. I close my door, I lock it, but that doesn't do it. I have to tell my children, I am working, don't come in, right? And have there been times where they came in and I was in the middle of like a coaching call? Absolutely. Right. So I have to drill that into them over and over again. And I have to make sure that I'm planning that ahead of time. And so create a system, something that is going to be a good fit for your family. Noisy homes, those are a given. Okay. Especially for those of us working from home and we're working with people, we're on Zoom calls and we're working on, confidential things, serious things, and we can't be interrupted. We have to create a system so that our family understands, so that the children understand that this is a space that needs to be quiet, or this is a space that needs to have more focus, right? So if you need help or if you need ideas that are specific to your situation, please send me an email. I am more than happy to help you brainstorm, come up with ideas for you. But I have complete faith in your ability to brainstorm, solutions. Ask your brain, if there were 3 solutions to this problem, what would they be? What would they be? And think about this. Don't even think about it as a problem. It's not a problem that you have a noisy house, right? That's a normal house. So you can simply say, for this situation, during my working hours, my situation is, noisy house. What can I come up with? What are 3 solutions for this situation? And see what your brain comes up with. Maybe ask yourself this question before going to sleep. Our brains are really good at figuring things out while we're asleep, right? And then put that into action. Put one solution into action. Give it some time. If that doesn't work, put another solution into action. Give that some time. It's like putting together a puzzle, right? One piece, you think it fits, but it doesn't fit, so you got to try a different piece, and that's totally okay. We're not judging that other piece of the puzzle didn't fit down here, right? So, focus on this without judging it, and it becomes like a triumph of its own for you to figure out what works best for your home. Sort of becomes like a win of its own, right? So again, send me an email, nilobergcoaching@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to bounce ideas, back and forth and help you figure out. But I bet you can come up with a solution. I bet you can, right? Okay, so another question that may have come up for you might be, I always feel like I'm behind. How do I stop playing catch up? I am so with you here too, right? So one thing that I teach is a Smart Start Sunday. Smart Start Sunday. My coach calls it Monday something. What does she say? It's not Momentum Monday something. I forget. But basically, it's the same concept. I teach it to my clients to follow this on a Sunday. My coach teaches it on a Monday. And so here's the idea. On a Sunday, you write down everything that you have going on for the week. So you create a massive list of all of your to-dos, and then you take out your calendar, and then you take your to-do lists, and then you plug it into the calendar, right? So you calendar everything, and then you throw away your to-do list. You don't need it anymore because it's on your calendar, right? Even if something shows up for you on that to-do list that's taking place in 3 weeks, put that in the calendar in the future. Flip the calendar, put that on that future date. So try a Sunday planning session, and then decide. What this does is it helps you decide ahead of time what, is happening this week, what's coming up, right? This helps you reduce overwhelm. And I understand if you're playing catch up. So let me help you here again. Get rid of that word catch up. It's just things you need to do. It's just things that need to be done. That's it. It doesn't matter if it showed up on your list today or if they're on that list from 4 weeks ago. It's just things to do, right? So make a massive list of things to do, and then you put it on your calendar. And you take 1 hour to do it on a Sunday, right? So I call it Smart Start Sunday. And I think I had a freebie for it. I'm sure I have it somewhere. So if you want that freebie, or maybe at some point I'll put it in the show notes. But take 1 hour on a Sunday. If Sunday doesn't work for you, use a Saturday, right? If Monday is best for you, do it on a Monday. The day doesn't matter. I like Sundays because my week starts on a Monday. Sundays are a good time for me to reflect on, what I did last week, what's coming up next week, and the week after. That's it. That's my reasoning for a Sunday. Plus it rhymes. Start Smart Sunday. All right. And then number 5, how do I make these habits stick? I love that. So start small. Attach them to existing habits. This is called habit stacking. Google it, look it up. I'm going to do a podcast on it. I love this concept, habit stacking. And try to track your consistency for 21 days because you're rewiring your brain. That repetition will help you build a new rhythm. So habit stacking is, you do something new. Like, think about it like a sandwich. So you have the top of the bread, you have the bottom of the bread, then you have the meat, right? So the top of the bread, that is something you do already. And then the meat is the new thing. That's the new habit. And then you have the bottom of the bread. So, for example, let's just say you have a dog and you walk your dog. That's a habit you have. You walk your dog every day, 15 minutes. Now, you also want to get a workout in. So when do you do it, right? So what you can do is you can try to maybe put on like a weighted vest, right? Put on a weighted vest and take your dog out for a walk. That is sure to give you a workout, right? If it's something else like you like listening to podcasts, or you like listening to, I have one of my really sweet friends, she loves, it's like crime shows or something, like crime show podcasts or something like that. So if that is something you love listening to, then go ahead, that's an existing habit. Go ahead and pair that up with a new habit that you want to start. So that might be, I don't know, doing some light exercise. That might be, going through and just decluttering. And that could be the thing that you do, right? You listen to your podcast or you listen to your crime shows and you go into a corner of your garage and you start decluttering. And when the show is over, then you stop decluttering. It's like you weren't even cleaning or you weren't even decluttering. You see what I'm saying? So it's a way to trick your brain into making new habits and then getting them to stick and making your nervous system feel safe that this new thing we're doing is not bad. It's not horrible. It's just something that, we can also enjoy in addition to the, listening to this podcast. So give that a try, habit stacking, and let me know what you think. All right, friends. I thank you so much for sticking with me for 32 minutes. Real quick, I just want to give you a few recommendations as far as if you want to read more about, focus. So some of Cal Newport, love this guy and his book, Deep Work. His book is called Deep Work. Absolutely amazing book. Go out, get it from your library, get it from Amazon. James Clear, his book Atomic Habits. You're not gonna put it down. Joanne Hari, I think, Johann Hari, Hari. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Book is called Stolen Focus, and then Nicholas Carr, Carr. The book is called The Shallows. Check some of these out. Definitely Deep Work by Cal Newport is amazing. And Atomic Habits by James Clear. You're going to love it. So I hope you are having an awesome and amazing day. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.